Christianity is slowly starting to decline in numbers. And I've been seeing a couple clips of reverends and pastors talking about how it's not as strong as it was before, and a lot of churches are losing members and numbers are going down, and the youth isn't as interested in how can we keep them engaged and spread the word of Christ. Nothing. There's not a damn thing you can do about it now, bro. This stuff was bound to happen. You got to think. The foundation has to be strong for the building to stand tall. What's the foundation of Christianity? A book. A book full of fairy tales talking about, you gotta think, the book starts off with a damn talking snake. How long y'all think this shit was gonna work, man? Come on now. And on top of that, people are convinced that out of all the books, it's just one book, out of the billions of books, one special book that men kind of wrote, but an outside deity told him to write this one book. He created everything else his damn self, but had somebody else write a book. Come on, you can only tell a lie for so long before people start to catch on to it. On top of all the technology we got, all the information at the palm of our hands, we can easily do research now. This shit is that simple. You ask the average Christian this question, especially black ones. What were black people before Christians? They haven't even fathomed the idea because they think it just started with the Garden of Eden and when we got here. They don't even look at the history before that to realize it's a bunch of new made up bullshit. So yes, there's nothing you could do. And the homie Ron touched on this. It was a Christian talking about the deconstruction people on TikTok. If y'all left, that means y'all was never a part of the faith. Y'all sound like an abuser in a relationship that was nice at first and the person fell in love with them, and after a while they seen they bullshit and left and going, well, if you leave me, that just means you ain't love me in the first place. No, we love being Christians at some point. We believe that, we argue up and down about it, but then we realize this is a bunch of bullshit. So that's where we are in this day and age. You can't hide the bullshit no more. People are not rocking with it.
What's good? This is Calvin X. Often when the subject matter of slavery comes about among black people, the transatlantic slave trade is talked about and considered. So is chattel slavery here in America. And the emphasis is put on physical slavery. Very little is said about mental slavery. There's not a race of people on this planet that could endure 500 plus years of dehumanization and come out of it mentally and psychologically unscathed. It is humanly impossible. When black people here in the Americas were set free from physical slavery, very little, if anything at all, was done to reunite black people with their African identity. Everything taught to black people in this country comes from Eurocentric ideology. To this very day, we have the white establishment stealing, literally, rewriting history and stealing black history as if we didn't exist. We didn't contribute anything to human civilization. We've contributed nothing to innovation in the sciences and medicine and archaeology, astronomy, mathematics. I mean, you name it. They're actually, the white establishment is pretty much trying to either erase or put themselves in the place of black people's greatness. And on top of that, because here in America, black people are not getting an education, particularly the black children. What you're getting is indoctrination. Speaking of indoctrination, religion makes things very much worse, particularly among black people. It does not bring us closer together. Actually, religion separates us. I can give you two examples, of how the indoctrinated black mind thinks when it is totally ignorant of itself. When a black person has zero knowledge of self, much less zero knowledge of your black history, the black mind can easily be subject to a lot of bullshit, actually, particularly religion and its doctrine. Let me get to the two examples in terms of how religion can separate us by way of thinking the believer is more morally and ethically superior than the non-believer. I met a sister years ago. When I expressed interest in her, she said to me, and I'll never forget it, even to this day, and I'm going back at least 25 years. But some things you just don't forget. She said, well, thank you for your interest, but I'm not interested in a relationship. I'm already in a relationship with God. And though I was pleasant in my dismissal, I couldn't respect what she said because it was pure lunacy. It sounded to me like an individual far detached from reality. But I wasn't rude. I just dismissed myself respectfully. The second incident, the second example I want to give you is when I conveyed to a sister and we were having a philosophical conversation. And I conveyed to her that I do not subscribe to any religion and I don't believe in God. Her response was, you, sir, are going to hell. No bullshit. Here's a woman, no different than myself in terms of humanity, if you will. But she has she feels as though she has the authority because of her religious beliefs to condemn me to a place that doesn't exist after I die. Religion has falsifiably, if that's a word, gave her that type of power, endowed her with that type of stupidity and ignorance. Now, during slavery, black people were forbidden to read. Reading or trying to educate yourself was a death sentence. So it makes sense that the white man would pretty much say, my God is your God, take it or die. You know, slavery is all about fear. And for the record, let's make something very clear. Slavery, chattel slavery, all slavery actually, around the world, it was not just about free labor. It was not just about free labor. Slavery was about making black people subservient to whites forever. Forever. Okay? There was a slavery was a psychological, if you will, program. When you look at it in its totality, when you look at its brutality, when you look at its subjugation, when you look at the fear instilled in the black man and woman, you would have to surmise that slavery wasn't just about that time period. It was about keeping black people subservient to whites for generations, for generations, for generations. And so was religion. How could it ever be possible that the oppressor and the oppressed shared the same God? Okay. Black people tend to think that whites can't lie to them about spirituality, and our dear sister Shahrazad Ali begs to differ. Give her an ear.
It's just been awful how they've did us on religion. And our people tend to think that even those who feel that they know that white Americans have mistreated us, their grandchildren or great-grandchildren still mistreating us in a lot of ways, they still believe, well, but nobody would lie about God, when that's not true. People who are trying to subjugate another people and turn them into slaves, not just physically, but mentally, then they certainly would try to teach them that God looks like me.
All right. Now, my thoughts on religion is geared solely on my reading, my study of it. I was, as a child, indoctrinated by my parents. I don't blame them. They meant well. They just thought Christianity was the way in which to make me a better human being. They didn't know any better. I don't fault them. I would argue that most black people, most of them, well in the 90 percentile, were indoctrinated into religion by their caregivers. Okay? However, as I got to be, I remember as a child, before I get to that, I remember as a child, somewhere around 10 or 11, I remember asking my father a question. I can't remember the question verbatim, but I know the question had something to do with my curiosity of God and this and that, and it just wasn't making sense. And I remember forget my dad said to me, he said, son, I don't want you questioning God. And at 10 or 11 years of age, I had the wherewithal to say to my father, but Dad, I wasn't questioning God, I was questioning you. You see. See, parents don't know enough, and then they particularly about religion, and then they indoctrinate their children into this. But they mean well, but they haven't taken a good enough look at where religion came from and why black people are so beholden to it. I, in my travels, many travels and many conversations with black people, oh my God, countless, have asked black people, what do you know about religion? Do you know where its origin and where it came from? 99.9% of the time, black folk don't know. I would argue that 100% of the time, they don't give a damn. Because once ignorance is generational, it acts a lot like cancer that's been left dormant too long. But the doctor tell you, there's nothing more we can do. You need to get your affairs in order. Well, ignorance kind of works the same way. If it festers too long, it will get to a point where it's too late to educate. It's too late to show proof of the contrary. You know, it's too late to free the black mind from mental enslavement. And that's where black people are to this day. My dear brother and I love this guy. He's a great scholar, Dr. Valentine, Dr. Phil Valentine. Hear what he got to say in terms of, you know, black people accepting that which they know absolutely nothing about.
In fact, today, if you were to go to Africa and talk to the children who've been Christianized, they will tell you that their ancestors covenanted with devils, and this is why black people are in the condition they are today. So turn to Christianity, and of course you turn to the oppressor's religion, and then you eat the gruel that they give you, and at the bottom it says Jesus saved you. Of course, you're conditioning that person for another 1,000 years.
Okay, now here's the deal. Do I respect black people's subscription to organized religion, whether it be Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, and the like? And the answer is yes. I show respect to what people believe in, but as a black man, a free black man, and knowledgeable as to where religion came from, where the fictional character of Jesus, where he came from, how he was created, how he was brought to life into the mental state of so many people. See, when you study history, it at least gives you some type of, not just knowledge of yesterday, but it gives you some type of guideline in terms of how to go about tomorrow. And black people collectively, I would argue that they want to forget slavery ever happened, the damage done to them psychologically. They don't want to acknowledge it. Shit, half of them don't even want to acknowledge slavery in totality. The fucking demonic treatment that black people received. They don't even acknowledge that. Black people today, in my opinion, not all of them, there are definitely exceptions, particularly in the black conscious community. But I think overall black people want to just forget slavery ever happened. And that is a fatal mistake. You ain't gonna never get the Jews to forget the Holocaust. It ain't gonna happen. Yet black people want white love so much they will forgive them for destroying them. And that's exactly what white people did in the 500 plus years of dehumanization. They destroyed black people. They murdered the Africanism in them. They let black people go with absolutely no knowledge of self. None. And I will blame black people to some degree, because once your physical was set free, y'all should have bust your ass trying to set this brain free too. To this very day, black people are dependent on whites for so much, more than they care to actually verbalize or say out loud. When we don't own nothing, we cannot empower ourselves. We're economically weak. But when we don't know shit, we are vulnerable to the bullshit that white people have taught us, including religion. Now, whether you believe in religion or subscribe to it or not, as black people, ain't none of us better than the other. None of us. Some of y'all might want to think because you're subscribing to religion, you're better than some of us that don't subscribe. Let me follow you for 5 days and see how you're living. You sure enough ain't living by the book. You sure ain't living according to the gospel, if you will. One of the many reasons I don't subscribe to religion, because it's too much control of your fucking life, and I don't dig it. I don't dig nothing that's gonna keep me in a box. I don't dig nothing that frowns upon my critical thinking and my thorough analysis of bullshit. And religion frowns on questions. That's why they want your faith. They want you blind and faithful. Just obey and believe what they tell you, but don't question a damn thing. And when I hear black people speak on this God mess, how he did that for you and this to you, first thing out my mouth, if I'm around them, is how can you prove what you're saying? And I know they can't, and they know they can't. So what's their response? Agitation, aggravation. You know what I mean? They want to distance themselves from an innocent black man or woman who's just merely asking questions and want proof of what you're saying. You can't just go in a courtroom after you have been convicted of something. Got your lawyer in the cut. Okay? He can't defend you on some shit just coming out your mouth. He better have proof of everything coming out his face if he gonna get you off. Well, the same goddamn thing applies to religion. If you want people with common sense to subscribe, bring proof to what you're saying, to which no religious fanatic can do so. Religion is a fraud. It is designed for nothing but mental control. And it has worked over black people for I don't know how, since they were free from slavery. Let's go back that far and further back, if you will. So, do I think religion is a detriment to the black existence? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think religion stands in the way of black people's gaining knowledge of self? Absolutely. Do I think religion stands in the way of black people's historic knowledge of themselves? Absolutely. I argue that no black man or woman is free until this is free, man. You got to free your mind from all things that involve Eurocentric ideology. Otherwise, you will leave this world as ignorant as you came in, and that's sad. Y'all be good. Peace and blessings. I'm out.